This is going to be a slightly difficult lecture. We have a start and an end date, but this time we also have the start and the end time value. Now this means that the difference between the 27th of July 17:09 p.m. and the 30th of July 2017 8:55 p.m. would be 2 hours 2 days 23 hours and 55 minutes, right? Which means that we need the difference in day, hour and minutes. Let's see how we do this. Let's first check what is the expected result. So 27th of July 9 p.m. and 30th of July 9:05 p.m. would be 3 days 0 hours and 5 minutes. Similarly, the 27th of July 17:09 p.m. and 11 p.m. would be 1 day and 2 hours, which would be the difference between 27 and 28 and the difference between 9 p.m. and 12 p.m. So this is how we do it. The first thing that I want to do is to write a function called trunc, which allows me to truncate, and I will simply subtract C4 minus B4, and that gives me the number 2. Now, if I do this for all of these, you notice we're getting some very interesting results. Like in the first one, this is 2, which is 27 and 30th July, but even in the next record, it is 27 and 30th, but it is coming as 3. The reason is because you have crossed 3 days, and in the first one, you did not quite cross 3 days. It was more than 2, but not 3 days. So we will have to check. We will have to check if it is the same as C4 minus B4. Again, you notice we get false, 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 true, false, and false. Right? So let's just continue with this and let's see what we want to do. What I want to find out is that if the result is matching, right? So if the truncated value is equal to the original reduction, then my result is simply going to be C4 minus B4. And let's just stop here. I will not put the final argument. I'll show you later how we do that. And you notice it is only giving us one result right now, which is this one. Now, do you see the pattern? Do you see why we are only getting this one? Because in this one, we had 0 hours and 0 minutes. That means that it was exactly 1 day between the start date and the end date. If I had made this 9:05 p.m. or even let's say in seconds, I'm just making it 5 seconds right now. Do you see it becomes false? So basically, what have we accomplished by finding whether the trunc is equal to the non-trunc? We have established whether the result is an exact whole number or is it a number that also has some values next to it. So it is exactly 1 day or 2 days or 3 days, or is it 1 and something, 2 and something, or 3 and something. So what will be the result otherwise? Otherwise, my result would be from the left of this result, C4 minus B4, we want to find a dot, and then let me put the parentheses as well. So we want to find the text, which is a dot, in C4 minus B4, and then do a -1 like this. So let's make sure that all the parentheses are in the right places. We remove this, and I think it looks correct. Let's see if we're getting the right results. Oh, excellent. So we're getting the right results. As you can see, we're getting 2, 3, 2, 1, 2, 1. Let's look at it one by one. If you look at the first one, the difference is 27 to 30, which is 2 days. Then in the next one, it is 3 days because it is 27 to 30, but we have crossed 9 p.m. Hence, if you notice here, we started at 9 p.m., but we have crossed 9 p.m. Hence, it is more than 3 days. Now, to understand why this is happening, remember that if we had just done the difference, so for a moment, I want to remove all this, and I just want to show you the difference between this and this. Do you see what is happening? There's only one result where the number is a perfect 1. All the others have decimal places because there is also a time value, which means that the value on the right of the decimal is time, something I told you earlier, and the one on the left is the date value. And that's the reason we had to do this truncate function. So what are we doing in this? We are finding the dot. So if you notice here, the dot is in the second position, right? Which means that from the left of C4, B4, which means that from this entire result, which is 2.99653, how many values are we taking from the left? Only one single value, right? So just practice this yourself, do it step by step, and it will start to make some sense. If you want to evaluate the formula step by step, you can also click on formulas and evaluate formula, and then this will show you one step at a time what is the result that you're getting, right? It's not particularly difficult, it's just something that you really have to wrap your head around. So make sure to understand this very, very well before you continue with the hours and the minutes. The good part is that once you have done this, the rest should be fairly simple, because the rest of the examples, because you can just copy and paste this formula whenever you have been given a start date and an end date. Let's see how we can find the hours now. To find the hours, we'll have to do something very similar. We will write left and then text, and then I want to choose C4 minus B4, and the difference should be shown as HHMM. Let's see what is the result that we get. Now we're getting 201020, right? Remember, this is 2, this is 0 because there is nothing in our hours, right? Let's complete this. So we can now do a find, and in find we want to find out the colon and then a text where we want to find C4 minus B4 and then HHMM and then a -1. As you can see, we're getting the perfect answer, but let's understand how this is working. First, let's see if the answer is correct or not. So 9 p.m. to 8:55 p.m. is 23 hours and 55 minutes. 9 p.m. to 10 a.m. is 13 hours, obviously. 9 p.m. to 8:55 is 23, and 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. is exactly 2 hours. All right. So let's see how this is working. So if I only take out this part, text of C4 minus B4 HHMM, let's see what is the result that we get. So if you notice, the result is 23:55. Makes sense? Now, if I say that I want to find out the colon from 23:55, my result would be the number 3, obviously. Why? Because the 3 tells us that the colon is at the third position. And when I do a 3 minus 1, we get 2. And what are we finally doing? We are taking the text C4 minus B4, which is coming as 23:55, and we only want to find out the first 2 characters, which is 23. And that is how it is working. So I hope it makes sense. First, we did a text of C4 minus B4, which gave us 23:55. Then I found where the colon is, which is the position number 3. We did a -1, which gave us the number 2. And then from the left, we only want to find out the 2 characters, which is 23. It makes perfect sense. There is 100% logic to what we are doing. You just have to do it step by step to understand how this is working. Let's do the final one. In this one, we want to find the minutes. So very similar to the hours, this time I can do this a little faster. From the right, we want to use a text where it is C4 minus B4. We want HHMM to be the format in which it is displayed. All right. And let's just make sure we don't put unnecessary parentheses. So this one will go away. Excellent. So we have HHMM. And just like earlier, this time what we want is to find a colon. After the colon, we will again write text C4 minus B4. We are writing the format as HHMM, and then just like earlier, we want to do a -1, right? And you notice this time we get all the minutes like this. So good example, everybody. We have managed to find an excellent result, which is telling us how many hours, how many days, hours, and minutes are between a start and an end time. It's a very important task because when you're working in logistics or supply chain, you want a precision level of hours and minutes, not just days and months and years. And without knowing how these formulas work, there would be no other way of you to find out all these results. Otherwise, even doing it manually would be very, very difficult. So please make sure to practice this very well. Of course, once you learn it, it's not really that difficult because it's a generic formula. You can simply copy and paste and reuse it whenever you have a start date and an end date given to you.